More life, more blessings. Welcome to For the Record by the Certified Platinum Network. My name is KRISTODOTCOM. Here we are with an artist, a Canadian artist, one that I've kind of tapped into recently. The passion behind the music itself is there. An artist that has proven himself worthy, came from rags to riches, as you must say. Also is an artist that you might argue wears his heart on his sleeve. None other than YSN Fab.
Yeah, shit. Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm chilling, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much for coming today. I appreciate it. Kind of chopped it up a little bit already. I appreciate you for coming up. I know that you're somebody that likes to kind of, like you see it on your social media. If you're somebody that follows you, you kind of put your kind of all into your music. It's kind of evident that your passion is behind what you do, and giving me the opportunity to kind of sit here to talk to you about it. Honestly, it's my honor. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for giving me that honor. But I wanted to kind of sit here and talk to you about that today. You got a lot of work. I know this week particularly you just dropped "Wanna Know," was it? That single that just came out. We just talked about it on the podcast. If you listen to some of our other stuff on Certified Platinum Network, we talked about it on the pod, and evidently enough, it's something where like you almost know the standard that you're expecting with somebody of your work and your caliber in particular. And I think that it's important to note that, especially for Canadian talent. I talk about it time and time again that I kind of put Canadian talent per se kind of at a high standard, and I can say that you per se, like unlike some other artists, are kind of working up there and continually catching new heights. And I fuck with that. I fuck with that hard. I don't know what you have to say kind of about like what you kind of got going on right now. Just being in the midst of the work. I always kind of talk about how you're feeling right now being in the midst of the work itself. If you're kind of wrapping up, whether it be a piece of work or getting into the nitty-gritty of your writing, working on something in particular, what do you kind of got going on yourself right now?
Right now,
we can start with your energies, because I like to start with that, kind of see how you're feeling your vibes right now in this moment in time. I know we kind of got a bit of a crazy world, and we got a bit of things to talk about here, but we can start with your energy right now, I guess. Like how you feeling?
Oh, my energy, just my energy. Man, I have my highs and I have my lows. You know. Right now, I feel like I told you, like when we was talking off the record, like the girl problems and stuff like that. It be affecting me. It be affecting me. So I feel like I just gotta shake that. But right now, like, and I got like I've been going through a whole bunch of other stuff like in my life that's just like making it harder to kind of concentrate and really like put my all into it. What I've learned honestly through like the process of just like making music and just finding my workflow, it's like I used to stress, and I feel like this is a good piece for like any type of artist or anybody doing whatever they doing. Yeah. It's important to find your workflow. And it's okay, because in the beginning, like 2018, 2019, the moment I stopped writing, so I write like every day, like to at least get like a song or something, right? Just be active.
Good, yeah.
And the moment I stopped writing, or I would have a low like right now, I feel like giving up. And I feel like, it's not for me. And I feel like, because it's easy for humans to just be like, all right, let's quit. Right. Let's just wrap it up. It's not for me. But what I realized through the whole process is like, man, like that's just my workflow. When I don't want to do nothing, I'm not gonna do nothing.
Right.
I'm not gonna force myself, especially when it comes to like the creative aspect of making music. I can't sit there and try to force myself to, I need that shit to come out organically. Right. So I say that all to say, like, I'm at a low, but I always know that, like, that high gonna come, like, it's going. You just gotta stick through it. So.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned that things kind of work in, like, flows, because I think that works with anything in life. Like, you catch a bit of motivation, you go hard at something, and then next thing you know, whatever it might be, just the way that the world works, you kind of driven back by certain things, and it's almost your job to kind of fight through some of those things. Is music, and I know you mentioned songwriting, you stay songwriting every single day, and I think that anybody can see that through your work. Is that something that you find kind of drags you out of those lows?
That's a good question. I feel like no, like just taking everything out and just just me and myself. You feel me? Like whatever it is, I'm probably not gonna do music because, like I said, like if I'm not like creatively there, like if the creative juices ain't flowing, I'm not gonna force myself. And I'm a type of person. When something happened to me, I can't just boom right away. I gotta process my emotions.
Yeah.
You know. So then when I fully process it, then I go back to it. And some people say that like it's kind of like that might be bad because then you might forget certain things, but it's like, if it's something that, you know, with some type of value, you probably gonna remember most of it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I know that with emotions, it's something that it's hard. Like in the moment, you might be feeling something like something can get you hot in that moment and you want to react. You say that there's a process that you kind of take to kind of break down is there something that you do? Like, is it something that you do to kind of calm things down in that moment and, you know, kind of process things in that way? Or is it really just a breakdown in your head? I'm
a talker, man. Like, I'm very introverted. I don't really like to go out, all that, but I'm a talker. So I'll call my homie, I'll call my mom. My mom like my best friend too. Like she always giving that solid advice. And as you get older, you realize like your parents are right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the conversations become even easier because now I'm really listening. And I'm not just saying all this to prove my point. And be like, nah, man, look, you feel me? You kind of just, you grow. That's part of maturing. So then you start to just see things differently. And that process, like what you just said, like how do you, the control of your emotions and all that becomes easier because now you're actually sitting there like listening instead of just trying to, you know, figure it out all on your own. But for me, it's just talking and just getting it off my chest, which is funny because it's basically that's what music is. Yeah. But it's at a time like when I'm at a low, I would rather vent and do all them type things because it's not work. It's not like when I'm writing, I gotta make this shit rhyme. This shit gotta have like a double entendre. Like I gotta really think.
Put your mind to it actually. Yeah.
You know? So
you mentioned I guess being able to talk through your emotions. I can feel like you're somebody that like values the people that you love. Like there's somebody there's something that's really important to you and kind of what you do and when you do what you do. How often is it that you kind of tap into your loved ones when you're, you know, in the midst or when you're in those lows and to kind of try to help you to get out of them? And even when it comes down to your music, I know, because I don't know how much of your music is kind of, I know I can tell for the most part, like you seem like the type of guy where a lot of kind of what you're going through is put down into your paper and the people that you love may be influenced by some of those records. How often are the people, like I said, that you love, do you call into them or get their opinion on what you're doing or where you're at in your life?
Like
is that something that's
almost,
regular?
Yeah, like everyday type shit. Like I mean, my mom like she try to tap in like every like week, but it becomes more than that because it's just like, and my mom is just like me though. Like I'm just like my mom type shit. Like
so your relationship with her is solid.
We just relate on a lot of shit or a lot of the stuff that she's going through right now. I'm going through. It's weird, you know, like even though she older or whatever, she can like really relate to what I'm going through. Or the fact that she's just been through it, obviously. You know, she has life experience. So with my mom, it's like all the time. And yeah, homie, like you know, you probably got certain homies for certain shit. 100%. You feel me? Yeah. So the ones that I know are gonna give me some solid advice, I'm gonna call more often. You feel me? The other ones, it's like I'll tell you after I made the decision and figured it out type shit.
Yeah. And I think that's smart to be able to play kind of, you know, who you tap into it with what you want to know. I know that for me, like I take age into account. Like for example, somebody like my mom or, you know, any of my elders, knowing that because they have years on me, that they might have a better insight on something that I'm kind of going through right now. And no matter what it is, I feel like all things kind of tap into, at the end of the day, like, you know, how many years have you lived on this earth to be able to kind of help you navigate through this experience? And even just the work that I do, like talking to senior citizens, talking to people that are older, getting their thoughts on things. I feel like that's something that's important. And just, you know, like you said, talking to loved ones. Are your family, are they here where you are now or are they somewhere else? Because I know that you had moved, you're in Vancouver now, right? Are they in Vancouver as well or?
No, they're in... My birth mom was actually born in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, dope. So you had a history of Vancouver before, I guess.
Not really, though. Like, she was born here. But, you know, by the age of, what was it, like 16 or something like that. She had moved to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And kind of just made her life there. So, and my mom had me when she was young. She was like 19, 20.
Do you feel like something drew you back to Vancouver?
Well, I came out here for the very first time. That's actually when I met Bryson. But I came out here to Nanaimo to play for VI Raiders.
Got you. Okay.
So when I came out here, like everybody, like the coaches, like even some of the homies and stuff, for like, cause I was telling them like, yeah, like I'm gonna be out here, but I'm gonna go back to Winnipeg and like I'm gonna do my thing, and they're like, nah, you gonna wanna live out here, like you gonna come back out, and like I don't know, I think like, bruh, like the first time I played football out here, I think only cause you play football out here and you've been out here, so I think only people who's like out of province will have this feeling. But bro, I swear to God, the first time I played football out here, we were on this field. It was like pretty like elevated, right? And like just in front of us was just mountains.
Right.
Like, bruh, like to me, like to somebody who ain't never like, even when you driving, like I was obviously here and like I was doing this, doing that before we went to the practice, and I'm seeing the mountains and stuff. I'm like, this is cool. But being like, feeling like you're on top and just seeing the mountains, and for me, why mountains are very important is because like I look at mountains as like metaphorically, like life is limitless. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I love mountains, bro. Because if I'm in like Winnipeg or any other country when it's flat, like it just feel like a box. Like they ain't really got much. Like my city, like bro, Winnipeg got like 3 skyscrapers type shit. Yeah. You feel me? Like
I've never been to Winnipeg myself, but I can only imagine like, you know, going from somewhere like that, like, you know, the amount of skyscrapers somewhere like here is.
Bro, it's crazy. Like, bro, you go on like I said, you just go somewhere elevated and you see the city. It's like half the time I'm like, is that downtown or is that? Because there's bro, you got Burnaby down everywhere. You got you got so many, bro. And us, bro, I swear to God, like 3, 4 buildings, bro. And that's our downtown.
That's crazy.
You know?
I was in Toronto not too long ago, and I was talking to some of my homies that were down there, and they were talking about how in Toronto you almost got to drive an hour and a half to go find your nearest lake or whatever it might be, like nearest body of water. Or when you're looking, just like looking into the sky, it's flat land. You don't see no mountains, no nothing, just, you know, foggy skies or whatever it might be. But, you know, coming to somewhere like Vancouver, it's just mountains everywhere you look. You see a mountain somewhere. It's not far before you get the nearest water or whatever it might be. So it's almost like maybe not a culture shock, but it's like an environment shock.
Bro, it's the best of both here, man. Like I feel like if you like the city, you got more than that. You know, you like the nature, you got more than that. Like it has everything. And like at first I thought like the rain, and I still do. It's kind of depressing, but you kind of do get used to it. You know. You get used to the rain. But the snow, man, like it's a blizzard in Winnipeg right now. That's different.
It don't get worse than that.
Bro, like you wake up one day, it's like April 10th, and you're like, oh shit, spring's coming, okay. Next day, 2 feet of snow.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying?
That's too much, man.
It's crazy.
That's too much. Like,
and y'all get like not even an inch of snow, and y'all like don't know how to drive and
bro,
shit. Like,
this has been something that
all these accidents. I'm like, yo.
I've been tripping about, you know, BC drivers when it comes to the summertime, or sorry, my mistake, the wintertime. Niggas can't drive for shit, bro. I don't know what it is. Everybody suddenly act like they never been on the road before. Everybody got their L. I don't know what it is, bruh. Like something about wintertime driving, like in BC, like I don't know if it's just me, like God forbid, like find wood somewhere. I'm gonna knock on wood later, but you know, God forbid nothing happen on the road. But like I feel like I don't even have that many years in, but if you just go slow, like it's not hard to get where you want to get, but niggas just be, you know, acting like this is their first day on the road. I don't know. That's my rant for today. Maybe something got to be done about that. But you mentioned Vancouver and like mentioning how the mountains are metaphoric to you, and you kind of vision them as limitless or you know, without bound. Do you find that the metaphors, like just being in somewhere like this, kind of helped you when you came here full time, kind of thing, like when you were, you know?
Bro, yeah, cause when I first came out here, I've already lived in like I lived in Nanaimo, cause I played football out there. I lived in like Surrey, like Delta kinda, like Surrey, Langley as well. Yeah. When I first came out here though, I was downtown, right? And bro, that shit was like so expensive, bro. Like I'm like, yeah, like almost $4.
Nah, downtown too much,
I was like, damn. But the beauty of it though is like, bro, like floor to ceiling windows. You're downtown, bro. I was like one floor below the penthouse. Okay. So like I'm up there and like, bro, you just see, like, you wake up and you just look out the window and you're like, wow, like
that's so inspiring.
I'm here right now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm here, even though like it's not even on no ego shit, but it's just like I came from this and I'm here now. And then I look out and I look across and I'm like, but there's how many more buildings with that many more people on the same floor? That means I gotta go harder. You feel me? Like
there
that
people
type of shit.
that are on, I don't know if you want to call it on your level, but they're eye to eye with
bigger
you.
And
they're eye to eye with you.
You know what I mean? You know? Yeah, they're doing their thing though, and it's just like
you got a couple more levels to go.
Yeah, cause I'm saying like you walk like say you know you live on the first floor type shit like or whatever you living over here. And,
humble
like,
beginnings, you know.
You know you walk and you keep coming by this apartment and you're like damn I want to be up there one day. Then you get up there. And then that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're up there, though, like, it feel like, also, okay, boom, you leave the house, and I'm like, there's, like, a little park. It's downtown, right? It's lit. You got little things to do and stuff, so, but as much as it felt like, wow, like, I'm here, like, you know, financially, things are looking different, all these things, but you still feel like a little fish in a big pond, like, big pond. You know, because the city I'm from is a lot smaller. Yeah. So, like, knowing, that's what I'm saying, like, looking across and knowing, bro, I ain't shit. I got more work to do. There's that many more people that's just as successful or doing, you know? Yeah. And yeah, like I just feel like
I feel like you're somebody that continually like you're never satisfied almost.
Yeah, you should never though. Like nobody should ever be satisfied.
I agree with you.
Nobody should ever.
I don't think that I always look at like level 9. When you hit level 10, that's level 1 again. Yeah. You're starting from the top, find your next high.
No, that's why I always told myself like. When I sign like $1 million deal type shit, that's gonna be like made for more days. Like that's gonna be the beginning because that like you can't act like you know you gonna like basically be counterproductive if you're acting like yo like I'm all good like you're not gonna get nowhere like you know. And it's not even about. I think sometimes some people feel like being too like money driven or too ego driven, but at the end of the day like. Ego is like fuel for your goal. Like you need to be somewhat ego driven.
I agree.
Just not in like an arrogant way, but just like you have to have like when people you tell whoever right, oh I'm gonna start this podcast, I'm gonna do this. People gonna be like man,
You know how many people doubted the vision from the jump, bro?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what keeps you going?
Man, not giving a fuck about what nobody thinks.
Your self belief, right?
Yeah.
The I don't give a fuck and the ego of like nah like I am this person. When I look in the mirror I believe that. Don't matter what anybody else believe like you know what I mean?
Man, I talk about this often, man. We did this shit when shit was racking 0 views. We did it from the ground up, grassroots type shit. I envision when you ask me at the end of the day what I do this all for, and I imagine myself, you know, in a rocking chair on my front porch when I'm however many years old, right? Being able to listen back to some of the shit that I'm editing now and just know that I'm doing it for some of those moments later on. I'm not doing it for nothing else. I'm not doing it for the glitz, the glam that comes with it. Great, I'll take it with it. But at the end of the day, I do it for, you know, being able to look back at what you created back then and you know, just be proud of something that you did. Like you want to be able to, I'm sure, listen back to some of your records when they've been sampled time and time again, and you know, the young kids are, you know, using some of your records and your lyrics, and you're hearing it back in today's music, you know, years down the line, and you know, be able to look back and say, you know, I did it for what was much more than what some people might have thought, right? I don't do it for, you know, the momentary validation.
And I think your situation is kind of relevant to what I'm saying too. But I think for me, like the most unique, like I'm in the most unique situation that a lot of people I feel like either fear or it just stops them from like going for it. And what that situation is, what's Winnipeg?
Right.
Ain't nobody what's Winnipeg. Like even Vancouver, you could say there's certain artists, but it's like I want to know who becomes the Drake of Winnipeg. I want to know who becomes the Drake of Vancouver. I want to know, right? You know what I mean? Because it like to me that's like the greatest. And even if I don't be the one that does it, at least like you're saying, you can look back and you're like I'm gonna be happy with the whatever it was I paved. Yeah, you feel me?
100%.
You know, like that's the type of shit that like.
What do you think about standing the test of time? You know, niggas that make music that might just be played here and there versus music that's timeless. I told you myself, I'd be playing some of your older records. Winter City is on my playlist today, and I'd be running it back now. And it's one of those things where, sometimes you gotta make your shit stand the test of time. Do you think of that when you're actually making your shit, or you're just kind of making it in that moment and how you're feeling now?
Definitely not in the beginning. Which is crazy because it's like almost the more I think about it, the less it happens.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like my new shit it doesn't have that same, like, people don't have that same emotional tie to it, I feel. I don't know. Like, obviously I have songs you can mention now and there's people who love them and that's their favorite song, but there's a lot. Like, I could go on Instagram Live right now and be like, what's your favorite song? Winter City, Cash. Like, it's like, it's crazy because I don't know what it is with that era and what happened, but that shit was just like...
So you mean to tell me when you're making a hook on someone like You and Me, you're not thinking about how it's gonna rock in the club and like that niggas are gonna...
I'm on my couch, I'm on my friend's couch, right? Eating like cookie dough, drinking water.
You gotta be that cookie dough.
You feel me? Like, bro, just destroying my body, smoking, drinking, just doing like nothing with
comes with it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like lost and shit, but I'm with this girl, and I'm like, you know what's funny with me too though? Most of the time with like love songs, I'd be like exaggerating a bit. It'd be like what I want and what I envision. Yeah. Not necessarily. So when I say, oh, it's just me and you and I'm so in love with you, it'd be like, yeah, I got love for you, but at the same time, I'll be trying to create this reality that like I want to achieve. And honestly, that's a lot of my music though. Yeah. You hear my music where it's like that shit make you wanna like do this or achieve this or feel inspired type shit, right? So it's like, bro, I'm sitting on my couch like, just like, all she want is love. But it was one of those hooks that when you just start writing it, I was writing on.
You know what's rocking with it.
But she know that. I'm like, nah, this shit too simple though. Like the way it was just flowing, I'm like, this shit is too simple. Right. I almost didn't even make the album. Really? Like when I was putting Made for More together, I only had the hook, and then I played the hook at the release party, or not even the release, the listening party. Yeah. And I was like, yo, what song should go on the album? I played just the hook of that, and it was because of shout out Pascal Beats, because he was like, yo, bro, because I showed him the hook, he's like, nah, I trust. And like obviously I got everybody in the room that I feel like I value their opinion of what I got going on, so I played it. They're like, yo, what? And so the next day I just finished the song, and then it was like, yeah, this shit was lit.
It was gold. You mentioned Pascal. Now you had a song that was just titled Pascal, and I listened to that, and
dog, man.
You can tell that you really put your heart and soul behind that record in particular, and I fuck with it for that reason, because you're letting it be known very well that this is the nigga that I came up from the dirt with.
That's my dog, man. Like, bro, that's family. Like, like okay, let me tell you this too about that track. All right. He gets, I think it's about 80% of that track. Wow. And so what's unique about that is like, most of the time like producers get like 5%. Yeah. Maybe 10%. Maybe 20% if y'all really working something out. But how we started, again, broken shit, nothing. I'm just like, I posted freestyle, he's like, yo, fuck with your shit. So we just start working, but he believed in me so much that like, I started to believe in myself, and it started to go where it went. And so for that's why like, that's something like, my mom birthing me, like I can never pay her back. Yeah. That type of shit was like a birth of a new me. I can't never pay him back. Facts. You feel me? So that is like the smallest gesture I could give him, but it's like unique in like the world of music, because people don't normally do that.
Is he from Winnipeg?
Yeah.
So he was somebody that you were able to have that kind of face to face with. Like eventually you were able to meet him and kind of have that kind of actual interaction with him. That's very interesting, because I feel like nowadays niggas are linking almost like on digital. Like you're meeting a producer that's from somewhere else and kind of locking in and collaborating, but y'all were different where he's in your city, you're able to lock in, and he almost becomes like a family member like that to you. Yeah. And the fact that you like you said, came up from the dirt. Is he YSN at all, or
I mean, YSN is like YSN, like anybody that like I'll fuck with, you can say they YSN. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like it ain't gotta be all deep like, oh, it's YSN Pascal. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, for me, to even add to that, it's like everybody is YSN. Yeah. To be honest. You feel me? Cause like
And for the people that maybe like don't know what it means, because I'm sure there are people that are watching it for the first time. I know you like it didn't even have to be that big of a thing, but for the people that don't know what it stands for.
Yeah, no, I love explaining it. I was going to explain it anyway.
Right, go ahead. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
No. I'm glad you asked, but boom, YSN. So young soldiers narrative, right? And the young is like basically to just when you a child, when you young, you like, bro, you got imaginary friends and shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like that type of creativeness you should hold that close to you as you grow up in life. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you have to be an artist. Doesn't mean it just means like just know that there's more than you see. There's more than the eyes can see. You know? Like, be young, like be, you know what I'm saying? And always willing to learn. When you're young, you know what I'm saying? So soldier is like no matter where you come from, right? You come from the trenches, you come from the hood, you come from the burbs, you come from, this family, that family, whatever, it don't matter. Everybody's going through their own battle. Yeah. You know? We all at war with something. Some people, the war is mental. Some people, the war is physical. Mm-hmm. You know? And then narrative, right? We all write our own story. We're all the author to our book, you know?
100%.
So, yeah.
Do you find that you have, like, a young soul? I like how you mentioned that, like, just being, channeling your inner child, I guess.
Yeah, I love that word.
Yeah.
I love that word. Inner child, man. That shit's deep.
It's like, you're having to reach back to where you were, like, the things that brought you joy when you were a kid and, the things that maybe traumatized you when you were a kid and it's almost like finding the root of the shit that you're dealing with today. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you're somebody that's like, you got a young soul at all times, or do you, because I think that niggas nowadays, like, you just be on your grown shit way too early, and it's like, man, life, it's okay to laugh at some things. I don't know, I feel like people take things too seriously, like early 20s, and all of a sudden niggas got like stone cold faces, and it's like, shit, laugh a little, man, like, you know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I feel like that is also like that whole like people see, like, people hear you're a rapper or whatever, and it's like, I feel like the streets are so intertwined with the rap shit that like people try to put on this persona, or they feel like they have to act a certain way, and it's like, dog, like, just be you, man, like, you know? Yeah. So, I feel like, to get back to your question, I feel like I have a carefree kind of soul, where it's like, man, I'm just flowing. I read this book, it's called Be Water, My Friend, by Bruce Lee. Alright. Bro, y'all gotta read
Bruce
that.
Lee, bro.
Bruce Lee, yeah. Shit. And I think maybe the daughter finished it or something.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like, bro, it's like, that's just how I was literally living like that and saying similar shit before I even read the book. But it's basically like be water. Like, what is water? You put water in a bottle, it adapts, right? Yeah. You put water on a thing, it becomes flat, and it starts. That's how you should act in life, Shit comes your way, and you just bow and leave. You adapt, you know. So it's like, that's how I'm like, bro, I could be broke right now. I could something really tragic in my life, God forbid, could happen. And like, I'm going to look at it, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because what is that going to do? Yeah. It's not going to do nothing. I'm just thinking about what's the next move then. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, you're still going to get down. You might drop some tears. You're going to go through it. That's human emotion. 100%. But like, it becomes like, it becomes a barrier. Like, it holds you back. When
people let it absorb them,
Exactly. So it's like, that's how I move, definitely.
I'm glad you look at things like that, because like I said, people let things just kind of absorb them, and it's, sometimes not realizing that, things are just momentary, and if you're strong enough, you can work past most shit like that. And man, the amount of times that, like, the power of the brain, like, a lot of people don't realize the power of the brain, and your thoughts, how your thoughts become things. Like, if you really, really think something, how you can actually make it happen if you really just believe it. And people don't realize how powerful, like, brain power is, and some of those things. And it sounds like you're kind of able to kind of control, like, you have a good sense of control when it comes to certain things. You don't let too much get to you. You sound like you have a good head on your shoulders, I guess is the word, how you would say it. Yeah. I was going to mention too, like, for whatever reason, I walked in here kind of already knowing I didn't even need to kind of talk to you without knowing that back in school you must have been good at English or language arts or whatever it is, because the way that you kind of put imagery together, I don't know how you kind of put your words to things, whether it's your creative writing skills or whatever it is. You said that you read. I was interested in that in particular. Do you read a lot or?
I read that book like a year ago.
Oh, you read it a year ago. So
I ain't read nothing since.
I think honestly, I see you as somebody that I feel like you'd be a reader, or that if it's the right book, it could get to you.
That's the thing. It has to be the right book, and like I'll buy books. Like, bro, I have a lot of books.
Yeah.
And like I'll have like some friends who come over and I'll be like, yo, look, I just bought this book, man. They're like, have you read it? I'm like, no. Yeah. And they'll come back like a month later, like, you read it? I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll buy some book and I'll be thinking like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And then I won't ever like really get to it. But yeah.
Have you ever gotten to like audiobooks? I tried those for a bit.
And I like low key like.
You can read them in the person's voice too. Like, say you decide to read, like, say Obama's book. You can read it in his voice. Oh, that's hard. That's hard. It's kind of nice, you know?
That's hard. No, I was thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, because there's times where I get some shit off like Amazon, and then it has that option, right? Like, go buy the Audible, and I'm like, I never have purchased it, but I'm like, I always think about it. But I think I don't even know what it is. I don't know why I haven't. I don't know.
Something to think about. Like, I don't know, like, because, bro, in your car, I feel like it's something that's nice, you know, just, like, obviously music, like, you be having the music blasting is nice, but one day just throw on an audiobook, like, listen to some cool shit while you're just cruising the highway. It's honestly, it's a different feeling. You feel like you're kind of taking in something a little bit differently. Like, me, myself, my thing is podcasts. I gotta, like, listen to people.
That's what, stories. I'll listen to, like, a little pod, not very often, though.
Yeah.
But I'll listen to a little.
Who do you listen to?
Or, like, Drink Champs and like I said, $1 Million Worth the Game.
Yeah.
Academics, like more still like music based and stuff. And like, what's that one got, Joe Rogan or something?
Yeah.
I'll throw on like a random one here and there. But I'm not like too invested.
Yeah. Do you find that some of those are important, like the media, the culture based kind of shows that like talk to rappers and artists and things like that?
I feel like it just gives you perspective.
Yeah.
No, I'm not too curious. I'm not too invested in like other people's life, but I think there's definitely times where I can take certain information and like apply it to my life, or just, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But you know,
do you ever find that it can help prepare you for when, say, you're in a room like this, and like when it comes down to like being in the moment and like, you know, talking to somebody and your conversation skills? Because I know. Like there are some artists, like for example, like I'll only say his name because he says it in his music that he's this way, but somebody like Rod Wave, maybe a little bit more low key, right? Antisocial, introverted kind of thing. And you know, obviously you have to kind of build on some of those conversation skills.
Yeah. I think I do take, you know, it does, like I do take like pointers or whatever from watching it. But I think the main thing that I get from watching it is just, like I said, like just if there's something like, especially like the headlines of the videos are important, you know, if it says that one thing, like NLE, like I love what NLE's on right now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, I'll watch like a Kevin Gates interview or something.
Yeah.
Kevin Gates is just like, bro, like this guy's so smart.
He's
like
smart,
I like just watching and hearing those type of things that's like not just your average, like, you know, this going on, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's why I said, like, off the record, I'm like, you know, I hope we can, you know, talk about this and talk about that. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, it doesn't always have to be about the music necessarily. Just, like, what is going on in your life?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I think that the special thing about people like Kevin Gates is, like, they have the ability to kind of talk and divulge in kind of certain conversations. Like, for example, I feel like we've been able to have today, like, where they're, like you said, talking a little bit about more than just the music. I think you mentioned, who is the person you mentioned besides Kevin Gates? NLE Choppa. Yeah. He's really into the health and wellness kind of thing. Yeah. And, you know, you can ask him about, you know, how his alkaline water and his battle with that, and, you know, him being a vegan. Is he vegan now or vegetarian or whatever it might have been? You know, he's kind of changing the way that he's ingesting certain things. And, you know, you look at something like that, it's like, shit, like, I mean, I might be eating kind of Grammy right now, but maybe I might think about picking up a green option every once in a while, you know? It almost inspires you when the niggas that, like, you fuck with their music, and now they're kind of changing their life for the better in a way, you know? Even somebody like him, like, you know, I don't know, well, like, you know, kind of watching how he kind of revolves with, I know he has battles like his baby mom, and knowing that somebody as young as him, like, will still kind of stand up to the family role. I don't know if you watch him that close. I know you just mentioned him out of nowhere, but somebody that kind of you look up to in that way at the very least. I don't know. Who do you? Because I can tell that you're like, even just kind of your flows, some of your melodies, things like that, have to have derived from somewhere. Who did you listen to growing up? I mean, I'm interested to know.
That's the craziest part. Is like when I was younger. Like, to give you a little bit of backstory, it's like my birth mom. Like, she was going through her stuff. She was young. She was, you know, wilding out and stuff. So she lost me, right? And so my auntie took me in. This has all happened like when I was 1 year old type shit. Okay. Right? And my auntie took me in, but she had like 6, 7 kids, so she couldn't take care of me no more. Right. Right? It was too much. And then she knew these people who ended up adopting me. Right? And so I grew, and they were white. And so the thing with that was like, bro, like, cause yeah, the questions about music, but it was so much deeper. It was like I could, cause you said what type of music did I grow up on and stuff. But I grew up on like AC/DC, Metallica, that type shit, because that's all my pops listened to. And like he didn't let me have like an iPod to like play. Like I had an iPod, but I could only download this. The only rapper, no word of a lie. I could only guess. I want to know. Guess who I could. Guess who I could. Be like Ice Cube or something like that. No, Eminem. Eminem. Yeah, because that's the only like he was like I guess he was white and the white rapper. He was like yeah, he's cool. But bro, whenever it came to like yo, wear my hat like this, wear my pants like that. Hard no. It's like yo, who you trying to be? You trying to be a thug? Da da da. And it was that culture difference that I feel like, you know, like bro, I couldn't even have a fro when I was younger. My dad would slick it back. Wow. Okay. You feel me? Like it was shit like that that's like even deeper than the music, but it all stemmed from like the one thing, which was, you know, what image are you trying to portray? Right. You're trying to be like that, and it's like, yo, this is who I am though. You know, it's certain people see me like 3 black men walk down this certain neighborhood, don't matter what you're wearing, they gonna look at you a type of way. So I was always trying to tell my part, like at the end of the day, even if I'm in a suit, I probably look suspicious. Like it don't matter. Like that's what it is. Yeah. You know, and it's not. I'm not saying like everybody racist and everybody prejudiced and da da da. I'm just saying there's like at the end of the day, this is the color of my skin. I can't change that. Yeah. But I feel like there were certain things that when I was younger, I couldn't do. Or I didn't know about myself. I kind of lost my roots and stuff. Right. So it's like I feel like that's the advantage that I had when I started rapping. Right. I didn't listen to nobody. You were driven already at that point. Yeah. Obviously, everybody know Drake. Obviously, I'm listening to people here and there. I get a little older. I'm in high school. I'm listening. But it's still like, bro, I can't go back. Like sometimes even you or like girls that I talk to, whatever. It's like they be like throwing on like, you know, 1995, this person or like the early 2000s word for word, and I'm like I like this song, I know it, but I didn't have it in my playlist like you had in your playlist. Listening to that shit like that. Right. I listened to it when it came on the radio, and that's it. And that was it. You feel me? So it's like shit like that. It kind of sucks because, you know, like having that. Having those, you know, artists, you know, like listening to them on the daily and all that, as much as it would help, it would also cultivate a certain sound, I feel. Because the more you listen to somebody, like, you know, you're going to start, and that's kind of what I feel like has happened throughout this process. Right. Like, Made for More was like, it was just raw. It was just like, I got freestyles on my phone, I'm going to do this, cool. 100%. Then it's like, you listen to Winnipeg's Anomaly. Bro, I'm like, shit, basically a love album, but I'm like... That last record go hard, by the way. I told you that already, but... what was it called? The one that I just dropped? No, on Winnipeg's Anomaly. Oh, Love is a Friends. Love is a Friends, yeah. Here we are, I'll be loving. That shit crazy. But that shit was like... That whole album was like just punching, like freestyle punching, like, and just trying to do singing shit and whatever. And that's because why? I'm listening to a lot of 2C. I'm listening to a lot of NBA. Yeah. And that's what my style... now kind of becomes. I might not sound exactly like them, but maybe the techniques or whatever gravitate to that. You know, you gravitate towards that, and then so Made for More too, I feel is like a mixture of like, okay, you know what, like I know I can when I write, I might be a little more, you know, I might know how to articulate myself better.
Yeah.
And then if I punch in though, the hook gonna be crazy. And so I'm like learning, and it's like the whole. I was like, man, you asked what's next, man. What's next? Now I'm gonna reach a new level, and I'm gonna find myself. And that new level is gonna be crazy.
Nuts. Cause now I'm glad you told me. Well, you said Eminem, and now it's starting to make a little bit more sense because.
Shut. Nah, you think that?
I'm not
you
saying
think
that
me
you
listening to Eminem.
You're not on no rapidy. And let me make this disclaimer very, very clear. You are not on no rapidy rap shit. You're not on no like fast rap type shit. I don't see that whatsoever. But I can see how wordplay is something that's very important to kind of how you go about what you do today. Yeah. It's like you'll get all those words in, but they gonna make sense. They gonna sound good because a lot of people just be using words and it just sounded like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. I'm gonna be honest, but yours makes sense, and you can see that he was prideful of himself in doing that back then, and I can see like how you were kind of. You listened to that and you kind of translated that, and those the same people that you said like 2C and some of the other names that kind of inspire you today. I can see kind of how you translate to that too. That's
definitely. Yeah, when I first started like in 2018, I was like one of my main because around that time too, I was kind of like into like J. Cole as well, like at the beginning there, and like that was somebody I was like, yo, like I want to be like this. Yeah. But you can never be exactly like somebody, and you never should. But it's like, if I could, like, bro, this guy could go ride his bike in his hood and, like, untouched, like, not even, like, fans coming to... Yeah. This is like, J. Cole, like, that type of... That because, like you said, the glitz and glam is cool, but at the same time, you want to feel regular. You want to, but as you get more successful, no matter what lane you're in, like...
It don't matter.
The fans or just the audience, there's going to be a lot more eyes on you. Yeah, exactly. And so, I feel like... And I one of these things people always say is, like, rap is, like, the most dangerous job.
They say, yeah,
right? Like a lot of people. But the thing is, I feel like it's like this, like. So the goal, if you in that lifestyle, the goal is to get out. The problem is people intertwine it, right, and they bring the danger into the rap. 100%. And so it's like, so that's something I kind of pride myself on. Where it's like, bro, I'm trying to be as intentional as I can with every bar that I put. Because at the end of the day, if we put on a beat right now and started to freestyle, I guarantee you one of us would say that we got a gun or some dope on us type shit.
That's the unfortunate thing, because it's true.
But that's just, I'm gonna fuck your bitch. Like that, like, it's the freestyle shit. So now what? You can just buy a mic, record, and what if people aren't really into the craft like that? Yeah. But shit, we listen to that shit. That shit sells.
It just became ingrained into us.
You know what I mean? So like, for me, it's like, bro, like, I'm not gonna just fill this bar with just, I did this and that type shit. Like, I'm trying to, obviously, I like to have my fun, though. Yeah. Sometimes that shit just sound good to say, or some shit. Like, you feel me?
And the shorty might just be in the room. He might catch a vibe, you know what it is. Fuck it, let me put your name in the verse. And that might just be what it is for the moment. I mean, some artists have done it, but, it all comes down to the moment, exactly like you said. That's all.
Facts.
I fuck with that. I appreciate the fact that you kind of dove a little bit deep into that, like the fact kind of your early beginnings and things like that. I know that especially like when you come from maybe what you would describe as kind of like a childhood that might not have been as stable, it can come with a lot of difficulties. And you mentioned, especially when you were younger, you kind of had to deal with a lot of those things in identity. Do you find that was something that you had to battle with? You had to fight for your identity a bit?
Yeah, bro, like that's spot on. That's spot on. That's spot on right there.
And I fuck with that. The reason that I bring that up is because I don't know if you had ever watched the Colin Kaepernick documentary on Netflix.
Nah, I've been meaning to get into it though.
If you got time,
is it the short? Like, is it like episodes?
It's an episode-based show, I guess. Right. It's their short.
I think that's what threw me off. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get into it.
And what you described to me, it's almost kind of freaked the way that you described it, because that's almost exactly what I had watched when I watched him. He had to deal with the same shit. He was growing an afro, but he was adopted by white parents, and they didn't fuck with the fact that he wanted to get cornrows now. Although it hurt him, he wanted to wear them just because he stood on what he stood on. He knew where he came from, no matter what.
You know what cornrows are?
Yeah, no, I know exactly where
they come from. Like the origin?
Yeah, no, I know where they come from. It's a protective hairstyle. It's to protect, the actual the type of hairstyle that we have from where we come from. Where ours is coarse. It's not like somebody from Europe that has really straight hair or whatever it might be. So I know that it's, you know, something that a lot of people don't necessarily know. I mean, his mom expressed that she didn't know what the fuck was happening with his hair and she needed help. She said, I have a black child and I need help dealing with this. I don't want to strip him of what he knows and his identity, but I want to help him discover, you know, who he is. And I think that you would pull a lot from watching that, to be honest.
I watched the Kanye one and I definitely took some, like, bro, when he was sitting there and Cootie, they was in New York, and Kanye was kind of just sitting on his chair and he was explaining like what his album meant, or like how he feels he's gonna like kind of what his impact will be on the game. And like, bro, that shit just sat me. I'm like, bro, I feel that, like, basically what he said is like, I have like a perspective where, you know, and don't quote me, but you know, the mom is kind of like a school teacher, so he knows like the history of certain things, blah blah, and then his dad was like this other aspect that he could bring to the game that wasn't just, yo, I'm in the hood and I'm doing this. Like he could just bring, like how Drake gapped R&B and hip hop, you know, or rap. Yeah. You know, so his was more like, you know, like what's the one song? She's so subconscious. Is that Good Morning?
Wait, say that.
By Kanye?
What's it called? That's the one that he was rapping when he was going into the Rockefeller Studios.
Yeah, that was like
back and forth. Everybody was like, "Yo, we've been heard this too many times." Whatever it was. All Falls Down.
All Falls Down, bro. That's but that whole album though, that whole from top to bottom is.
College Dropout changed my life.
Bro, that shit crazy. Are you a big Kanye fan?
I remember where I was. Today, I don't say that I'm like in the Kanye. The cult or whatever you might call it. Like I got my pair of Yeezys, but I'm not out here like, you know, lining outside for the next pair type shit. Like
you bought the stem player.
It wasn't mine. It was my homie. I told that nigga, I'll be 100%. I told that nigga I might buy it myself. I don't go fuck $200. That shit cool as hell. Yeah. But no, like I fuck with Kanye and I 100% appreciate, respect, and applaud him for kind of what he's done. Like. To music, like he's influenced and shit. You can't even deny shit. Anybody that said otherwise, I'm gonna damn near smack him in the face. You're talking foolish, but when it came down to when it comes down to Kanye, some of the things that he's done in the past, like you know, it is what it is. I don't kind of fanboy over him per se, but the documentary is somewhere where I looked at it and I said, you know, like this is once again another tale. You can't deny it.
Bro, he had the vision. Like he literally had. He was just like, yo, start filming me. Like he knew he was gonna, like, bro, the type of confidence you have to have in yourself, there's something madness. You know what I mean? And like to this day, he's still labeled as crazy in whatever aspect. But it's just like, what I took from him saying that though, when he was sitting there, he's like, yo, like I feel like I can gap, da da da. Like I feel like that's exactly like how I could, or how I want, like the goal of my music. Like I feel like I want to gap, like I want to gap the perspective of like, you know, broken, lost, you know, don't know their identity. You know what I'm saying? Don't know your identity type shit. And then, this ain't even gonna make sense. My thoughts are all
Break it down. I'm listening.
My thoughts is all over the place right now. But it's like,
I feel like you're trying to break down identity. Like, kind of your battle and trying to reveal that to people.
I feel like that's like a different added on to, because now I got a different thought. But it's like,
right, it's all good.
It's like boom. It's like boom. I think what I'm trying to get at is like the gap between like I come from I come from like a household that's like this is why the YSN or like being a soldier is so important to me, because I feel like you look at me, you hear my music, you might hear some, you know, like there's like a stigma in my city that's like, bruh. I try to convey this message that like, look, like, you know, motivation, inspiration, like you can do more, like, you know what I'm saying? That's like a lot of my music is like that. Yeah. You know? And I feel like certain people will hear like one bar or one this. That's like a different message. It might even be, you know, hypocritical to what I'm like trying to convey, right? Yeah, yeah. And it's just like, bro, like my message for my music is way over here, but y'all holding on to this. And it's like, that type shit gets to me because I want to gap, like, again, I come from like, you know, a decent household. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with two parents who were working together, you know, trying to make something work. And the thing is, like, they never had, like, they weren't rich, they weren't this, but the neighborhood was a decent neighborhood.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from the outside looking in, like J. Cole said this in one of his songs, and it's like, something about, like, we ain't never had much, but to the brothers down the block, we were blessed type shit. Like, that bar just, bro, because it's like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the soldier piece to me, the battle, the war, it's like, dog, even people who born in the rich families and shit, like, bro, like, you don't know what that environment's like in that house, though. Yeah. You know? No, do they have daddy issues? Or are these people being neglected by their parents? Their parents too busy working that they don't... Now, that kid, he got money, but he don't know what to do with it, so he go party and just fucking...
Just blow it all.
Blow it all and do stupid shit, because he ain't never had that, environment to really cultivate, like, a proper, decent human. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? So 100%. For me, it's like, bro, I don't know. I'm trying to gap, like, like, I just feel like I have a different perspective to give when it comes to, when it comes to this music stuff. Because you might look at me, but it's like, I'm not always this, or I'm not just this, See, a black guy, you hear my raps, you might be like, oh, he just like, with the raw, he with this and that. But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, like, it
means a little bit more.
It's deeper, and it's like, I don't know.
You make it clear in your album titles. I mean, Winnipeg's Anomaly, don't get more clear than that. You try to make it known that, like, I'm not like any other nigga that's just coming out of here, Like, I see it very clearly. I think it's clear in your music, like the fact that you're trying to show niggas a different path. I think that there's something to be said about, and they talk about it in finance where people kind of get, I would say, comfortable with where they're at. Like, they might be going through the struggle, but they're content in the struggle that they're at, and they become fine with it. They almost don't want the help to become a little bit better than what they're at right now. It can work in any other way where, you're trying to show niggas a new path into something else. You're trying to show them show them hope. Because that's what I get from your music. I get hope. Like, showing people that there's more to just what we're sitting through right now. But sometimes people just don't want the help. And it's frustrating when, when you're trying to put on for your people and you might not feel like that feedback is wanted, even though you're trying to do good.
Yeah, but I ain't going to give them too much credit, though, because we don't pay attention to that bullshit. You feel me? Yeah. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm human. So, like, a comment, a DM, this person talking about this person, like, you going to hear it, you going to see it. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, you watching my moves. You feel me? Yeah. I'm not paying attention to you. 100%. And at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to convey this message that's, like, bigger than whatever the fuck you talking about. And so, like, I don't know, I just... What
do you say to, because you got the bar, I appreciate them fans, but I love them niggas who hate.
Feel me? Like, bro, that shit feel you.
Yeah.
That shit feel you, man. Like,
you just let it gas you towards what you're going towards.
Yeah, man. Like, that shit, like, proving somebody wrong. Like, as a kid, like, bro, I was such a little shit. Like, I was so bad. But it was because, like, I wanted to prove everybody. Yo, I bet you can't do... What you mean I can't backflip off the fucking school roof? Like, you know what I mean? Like, some just wild...
Just because you told me I can't. I might like, want to try it.
I just want to do it. And so, but, you grow, you mature. And now that becomes, this is a dream. So I'm going to chase that dream. But that same type of rebellion that was instilled in me is just now used towards something beneficial, though. Like, something actually, like, I'm not just... doing stupid things and fighting kids and doing, it's more like, okay, like,
there's more to it. I don't know, like, have you heard I don't even know how much we can really even talk about it. This is just current. I figure why not we talk about some shit that's current.
This nigga about to get in some shit.
Well, it's not too crazy, but it's the Jack Harlow and the Drake leak that just dropped. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh no, I didn't.
You didn't hear it. Okay, so we can only talk so much about it. So Drake on his braggadocious shit, he's just kind of rapping his head off. He unearthed the whole Pusha T beef. So Pusha T initially, he jumps on a show, Jesus and Mero. I don't know if you know them, but they're just kind of talking about how Pusha T is saying, he's kind of past the whole Drake beef. He has a kid now. he didn't at the time where he kind of name dropped the whole thing that happened with Drake's kid, but he has a kid now, so he understands what it's like, you know, just kind of going through that and how
try not to.
There might actually, like, at first you might say that rap doesn't have you know, barriers to, you know, what you say or what you mention, but now he understands, you know, now that I got,
because he was like no rules,
exactly.
And now he's like shit.
And so Jack Harlow, you know, when him and Drake went to Turks and Caicos, I don't know if you ever saw any of those stories that went. They was turning it up, you know, getting jiggy with the women, and I guess one of them just so happened to have whipped out a voice memo and record the track that they recorded, right? So just so happens that it leaks. Everybody gets to hear the new Drake and Jack Harlow song, and we're listening to it. Jack Harlow's doing his thing, you know, it's heating it up. It's fire, like it is what it is. Drake came in on some fucking 7 a.m. in Sweden type shit. Basically goes on.
That's hard.
Goes on to say that he has far surpassed the whole situation with Pusha T, but he doesn't give a fuck that, you know, he's so far gone that situation, no pun intended, but he's still urgent for revenge. He said it's a non what's the fucking word, I don't even know. It don't matter, he's gonna get his revenge no matter what, is essentially what he's saying. He doesn't care that it's been so many years since the whole Pusha T shit. He knows the way that it ended off and how niggas look at it now, but you know, he's got to get his revenge back is kind of how he looks at it. And it's kind of similar to the point of, you know, your haters kind of feel you, you know, it don't matter how high you get, but you know, if it means that you won't get your revenge back, and you know, we're gonna see what happens with it, and maybe you'll listen to the Jack Harlow track and you'll kind of see the passion that Drake kind of puts behind it. I hate that it had to be Jack Harlow that kind of caught the heat behind that track, you know. Apparently it was his track featuring Drake too, which is kind of interesting because you know, why let Drake kind of do you on that track, but
he's intertwined now. It is what it is.
It is what it is. If it was a timestamp track that Drake sent me, I'm gonna ask him if I can politely. Well, actually, as an artist, I'm not an artist, so I don't even want to say that I'm gonna step back from it, because when a Drake comes to you, you guys can do what you will with
bro,
that.
If Drake,
what if you got that feature,
bro? If Drake just said Drake, like, bro, I'm taking that. Like, you know, cool. Like,
if he hands you a timestamp track,
fuck it.
Shit. Nah, fuck it.
Just give me an intro, like, whatever.
Yeah, no, you might just have to do your thing, but
fuck it. I am now. It's like I am now, like.
You're locked
on
in.
your side, and like it's fuck Pusha T, like
God.
that's what it would have to be. Not literally, but it's just like shit. If he put that information on my track and whatever, like
yeah,
yeah.
Have you ever been like collaborate with an artist where you gotta now like take into account, like they just said some shit about some other artist on your track, and not like it matters to you, but you gotta now keep that in mind, like
nah. I've had people diss me and shit though.
For real? How you take that? How does that? Do you listen to it? What's your reaction? Where you bump the diss track? You go in the whip and listen to it, or you in the studio? Let me hear the big speakers. Let me hear that shit.
I'll definitely play it. Yeah, wherever I'm at. Like
you get to rain right away, or
no? What the fuck? Nah, cause you know what's crazy? Like the disses, like they be more like comedy for me. Like it just be like like I'm listening to like okay, that's how you feel. Cool. And a lot of the time it's
that's
like
how you feel.
Yeah, like that's how you feel. That's cool. But at the end of the day, like I'm not finna like, you know, hop off the ladder to come down there and like, you know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of the times it feel like
it's like a punch up.
Yeah, like what, like for what? And then motherfuckers be like, oh, it's not for clout. And it's like, I mean,
like respond back. It's business. Like
yeah, right. Oh, like, bro, I've had people like, oh, it's gonna be good for the city. Da da da. I'm like, bro, why is beef good for the city? You want me to go on this whole diss track? Now, I'm trying to do something for the city already. Yeah. And you want to be part of it, which is cool, but create your own shit and do your own thing, and let's all come up. And when it's due time, like, you know, we gonna collab. There's certain artists that can't come up on this podcast. Right. There's certain people that you're not gonna interview.
100%. I told you from the jump. Didn't I tell you that we only talk to niggas that we only want to talk to? And that's fair. Niggas that I don't care how big you get, you're next off the list, because I just don't really care about what you want to. We ain't gonna drop no names, but you know, it is what it is.
That's how it is. Like even with a song, like I'm not gonna feature with certain people just because. For me, it's about the music. It's not necessarily about the money. You know, it's like I'm not just gonna hop on anything just because that's hot. Like, and you said that, right? But I view it the same with the music. It's like, I mean, Drake is one of them ones that is a little different. Yeah. I don't know, you feel me? But
you gotta reconsider some things, yo.
You know, but there's certain artists that's like, they're a lot bigger than me and I still wouldn't. But Drake is Drake, man. You feel me?
Like I said, I'm not an artist, so I can't even really speak to some of those things, but I respect the fact that, you know, some things, maybe you might have to just lay it down just because, you know, this is an opportunity that can feed your family and the next generation and the next, right? Well,
and how I view it right now, like the position I'm in, is like, or just even if you think about the very, very beginning, I always viewed it as like, I want to know what I can do. Right? What am I capable of? Like, off the strength. Like, I mean, yeah, I could have a manager, I could have a producer. I mean, I'm not going just, this guy is this big and I hand him 10K and maybe down the line, right? I'm at that point, I'd say, and even, you know, as things get a little bigger, like, it's gonna be more business moves. Right. Not necessarily like, what can I just do to get it out the mud and just off the strength. Like, at some point, like, even at the very beginning, I was like, I'll never have no one write for me. But at the end of the day, I look at it like, yo, as much as I'm doing this because it's my passion and I love it, come on now.
Yeah, you gotta be realistic with something.
You know, somebody write a song and it's fire and I'm gonna get a platinum record. Shit, hopefully I got other platinum records that's by me.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, why not add that to the...
I'm really glad you actually mentioned that last part in particular, because I agree with that 100%. Like, you know...
Certified.
Certified, I'm glad you said that. I have something like, I talk about, you know, how pop stars can kind of, you know, just go on and have writers that write for him and, you know, do what they do off of that. Rappers, I always kind of look at a little bit differently just because of the art. It's a different some things sometimes, especially in your case when you're like kind of putting your art and passion behind the music, you'd only hope that for the most part you kind of put your own thought into some of that. When you get to a level, you know, when you're dealing with, like, for example, when Drake hit that, I hate to always just bring his name up, but that One Dance level, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, the type of records that you're making in that time. So you just have to be mindful of just things that you don't really know until you're at that level. That's really all it is.
And I do say that lightly though. Like, I do not say that like, oh, bro, like, I'm gonna just have everybody writing my shit. Nah, I say if it really makes sense, because I still stand on that. Like, to this day, like, I got it, and this is the thing. Why I went crazy when you said identity is because, bro, music for me, the reason I know I'll never, like, I'll dabble into other shit and, you know, business moves and whatever, but I don't think I'll, like, ever, like, put down the pen, like, for good. Because for me, it's all about identity. It's all about learning myself, learning who I am. Yeah. And trying to, bro, like, the music I make, as much as people can relate, bro, half the time it's me just, like I said, if I'm not calling my mom, well, I'm venting on my songs. Like, I'm venting. Like, I'm trying to figure out, yo, this is that and this is this. You feel me? So it's like I'm constantly self-reflecting. Yeah. Like, I'll go home after the interview and, like, there's already things you've said that I'll take into consideration and I'll just think about it. I'm like, what did he mean by that? Yeah. You know, I'm a very, like, what is the stem or, like, what is the root of something? Yeah. Not like, okay, we can have a conversation and, like, something could have just went over everybody's head. Yeah. And it could have just been something like, whatever, you said this. Yeah. But me, I'm like, nah, but why? You know, somebody get mad at you, it's like, I'm not even mad that you're mad at me. I'm just trying to figure out like, why you reacted that way. Yeah. You know, because there's always...
You're trying to delve into, like, the root cause behind certain things. Yeah. Not a lot of people be looking at certain things like that. Like, you know, certain niggas, I look at it the same thing as when you walk into a room, like, maybe not even entirely the same, but niggas that walk into a room looking towards the exit. Call it trauma if you want, but they're looking at, like, you know, cause and effect, cause and reaction. Just certain things, you're being analytical no matter where you are. You're just being thoughtful of certain type of things. I can already tell you that type of nigga, you know, you just watch certain things, you mindful, strategic, you kind of watch how you move in certain spaces too.
But at the same time, I fuck up a lot. You feel me? Like, I'll fuck up so much to the point where it's like I'll go through the same lesson 3 times. Yeah. You know? And that's something that, like I really, you know what I'm saying, be trying to work on, like, when I come to, because it's like, for me, I feel like I can justify a lot of things. Like, and that's the understanding though.
Yeah.
That just comes with like the way my mind works. I'm like, whoa, you know, and a lot of the times it's like relationship shit.
Yeah.
That's like, yo, I be fucking up, you know? It's like, I was just in this situation. Why am I not?
Yeah.
But it's because, you know, emotions. When you're emotions, you just kind of mentioned this. I put this on my story the other day. Control your mind, control your life.
Yeah.
You feel me? But it's like, we don't always, we let our emotions control our life, you know? We don't realize, like you said, bro, the power behind the brain, like the power behind the tongue even, just what you say, what you tell yourself.
100%.
You know? Like it seemed cliche, but it's like, bro, look at yourself in the mirror every time you wake up and tell yourself that you love yourself and that you gonna be this.
I wish a nigga would perk their ears up when they heard a cliche, because half the time that's shit that you probably need to hear.
And that's fact. Like cliche, that's what I'm saying. The most cliche things in life, the reason they cliche is because they're the most truthful. Like they the most accurate. It's like the Bible. Why does everyone know the Bible and God? Because at the end of the day, like, that's the truth, bro. That's the truth. And not even to be religious, because I'm not even religious, but just on some shit that, like, yo, like, there's got to be a higher power. There's got to be something. Yeah. You feel me? So it's like...
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. I want to ask you just one last question here before we wrap this up. Trajectory. People look at it like... a projectile's got some type of trajectory, you know, when you shoot something, when it's going sky high, where it ends up, you know, whether it keeps flying higher or whether it starts to, you know, passively make its way back down. What do you say for your trajectory? Like how you see things going at the end of the day, like when all is said and done?
It's like going to the moon. Like we in the little rocket ship right now. We just floating. I know,
looking
like
down on Earth, like.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's like, I don't ever focus on where I'm at because I know where I'm headed. I know where I want to go. Yeah. So it's like, if we were to say, like, right now, like, where I go tell this person, yo, I'm going to be it, they're not going to see it. But, like, where I see it going and, like, what I, like, for me, I think one of my strengths in this life is my faith. Because I could be sleeping on the floor just dirty. Just dirty, nothing going on. But I'm not focused on that, and I'm going, you know, I'm going to have that mental strength to be like, nah, I'm gonna make it here. You feel me? Yeah. And we was kind of talking about this off record, but I kind of want to get into it. Go ahead. And it's so a lot of times I feel like people don't realize the sacrifices and the consequences that come with certain actions, right? And they're not mentally prepared for that for when they actually go chase that thing. So a lot of people, oh, I got this dream, right? Oh shit, but I'm gonna be broke. Oh shit, my family might switch on me because this ain't cultural. Or this ain't, you know what I'm saying? Additional. All these things that you have to factor in. Like I think about all those things and I say, you know what? I will accept that. Yeah. I will accept what comes to me and comes with this. You know? And because I have certain friends that I've told, yo, go quit. Like, go to tell your mom right now, you want to quit school because you love this shit. And I'm very, I could not even know you. And I'll probably, if we talk long enough, I'll be like, bro, nah, you got a different passion. You in school for that right now, but dog, I'm telling you right now, you just don't see it. You just don't see it. You just don't see it because you blinded by the world. You're blinded by what's been shown to you, what you know so well. You don't know what the other possibilities of what other things could come. And that doesn't have to be the craziest, most, you know, abstract dream. It could be you actually want to be a doctor instead of a teacher. Whatever it is, it's just like, are you doing exactly what you want to do? Right. But I say all that to say, again, so they'll have this dream, but they won't realize they'll be in these situations where it's like, fuck, and they fold. Yeah. You know, but you just gotta fold like fucking chairs in an auditorium, man. No cap. No cap. But yeah. No, that's respectable. That's commendable. I'd say that's like, you know, ultimately when you think back to like what a man is, somebody that can you know, whether you can take the consequences that come with the actions that you put out, you know. Sounds like you're somebody that's of that sort. You sound like you come from a different cloth, just from your music, the way you step, the talking to you today. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, you know, in this kind of setting here. I fuck with it. I fuck with you, your energy, your music. Like I said, I listened to you before I even met you, and you know, I'm listening to the music in itself and how you speak, and it's respectable. And I always looked for artists that follow along that path, and I fuck with that heavy. I appreciate that.
Like I said, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
I appreciate that, man. Like I said, it's my pleasure. You feel me?
Most definitely, yo.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Of course, you can make sure you catch the video version of this on YouTube. You can go over to our website, certifiedplatinum.ca. You can catch the audio by going to certifiedplatinum.ca/listen. Thanks very much for listening on this episode here with YSN Fab on For the Record here with Certified Platinum Network. Peace.
Yes, sir.
I ain't never had none, but I make do. If I eat, I make sure my niggas eat too. Where I'm from, they surprised that I ain't lose. Man, that pussy so good, had to hit it from all angles. Started getting money, hate got realer. Way before Bake was a hate fast nigga. I got new money, still the same old nigga. Waiting for my credit since the name got bigger.